Sensei is a Japanese word that means teacher. And I teach Isshin-Ryu Karate for the Recreation Department of Bethel Park at Bethel Park Community Center. I've been in Isshin-Ryu Karate for over half a century. And it's been my observation, the violence is always emphasized, but the better virtues of karate is seldom seen. In this series, my purpose is to acquaint you, the viewer, with the benefits of martial arts training in general and Isshin-Ryu Karate specifically. So whether you're a martial artist already, or whether you're a person who's thought of taking martial arts, or if you're someone with no interest whatsoever in martial arts, I think you'll find this program to be of benefit to you. My name is Chuck Wallace, but my students call me Sensei. Hello, and welcome to the holiday edition of My Students Call Me Sensei. Most people would agree, I think, that the holidays are the time for family and friends, for reminiscing about the past, and for looking forward to the future as the new year quickly approaches. In regards to my family, I consider myself very blessed. I have a lovely wife of 57 years. I have 4 grown children. I have 6 grandchildren, 3 boys and 3 girls. I have their beautiful mothers. And I have the extended family in several places around this country. As far as friends are concerned, I'm blessed once again. I have many friends. Most of my friends are karate friends. I've been in Isshin-Ryu Karate for 53 years, so I have friends among the people I've trained and worked out with, as well as friends that I've met at karate tournaments and seminars and get-togethers all over mostly the eastern and central part of our great country. One of my karate friends I have asked to visit with us today, and in a few minutes you'll be meeting with him, and I'll tell you about him. I've known him since 1972, and he's a very dear friend of mine. I want to talk, though, a little bit about my background. Although I've had this program for over 2 years, I've not really told my story up to this time, and I want to do that now, but I'll do it briefly. In 1950, when I was 10 years old, I came down with the worst strain of infantile paralysis that there was at that time, spinobulbar. It almost killed me. It kept me flat on my back for 6 months, and it instilled in me a desire to excel in some physical discipline. I couldn't play basketball or football or baseball because it was years before I built myself up to the point where I could make any of those teams. But as a young man of 23, I became aware of Isshin-Ryu Karate, and I began the study thereof. Studied first under a black belt in Oakland, and then my father showed me a newspaper article about a karate master named Tatsuo Shimabuku, who was coming to this country, Castle Shannon, as a matter of fact, to teach his brand of Isshin-Ryu Karate to the people who lived in that area. I immediately signed up, and I met 2 men who changed the course of my life from that time forward. Tatsuo Shimabuku himself, the founder of Isshin-Ryu Karate, and William H. Dissel, who soon became Shimabuku's #1 student. When Shimabuku went back to Okinawa, I continued my study under William H. Dissel. He was my sensei. We became business partners, and in 1970, we opened the Academy of Isshin-Ryu Karate in downtown Pittsburgh. That school was in operation for 9 years. During that time, we believed it to be, around the mid-70s, the largest karate school on the Eastern Seaboard. And we trained many an Isshin-Ryu Karate champion, one of whom I'll introduce very shortly. Through the years, we did demonstrations. We had our group compete at tournaments. We trained with not only Tatsu Shimabuku, but his son Kichiro Shimabuku and his son-in-law, Ongi Uezo, who all visited this country to provide further training in Isshin-Ryu Karate to both of us. For those years, I made many, many friends, and many a happy relationship has taken place. In some cases, some of the people we trained became fond of one another, and I can think of at least 2 marriages that occurred as a result of total strangers studying Isshin-Ryu Karate at the Academy of Isshin-Ryu Karate in downtown Pittsburgh. It's been a great time. We closed that school in 1979, but we went to the YMCAs. First, the Northside YMCA, where we trained, then the Downtown YMCA, where we trained. Now, our school, although it has a different name, the Isshin-Ryu Karate Academy of Pittsburgh, our school is located on the borderline between the city of Pittsburgh and Green Tree, 600 Green Tree Road. I teach karate there, as well as here in Bethel Park. I teach at the Bethel Park Community Center. We run classes on a continuous basis. Right now, we're on our holiday break, but we'll resume again on January 8th in the new year. I want to introduce now a dear friend of mine. He came to us in 1972, just out of the Marine Corps, where he was a captain in the Marine Corps. He, over the years, while training with us, distinguished himself in competition, both in kata and in kumite. He was an athlete in his college days and set a record in track at Thiel College here in Pennsylvania. He is now the president of the Isshin-Ryu Karate Academy of Pittsburgh. He's a very dear friend, and I want to introduce him to you now. My friend, 8th degree black belt, Marvin, or Marty Prentice. Marty, thanks for being with me today.
Thank you, Hachi. Thank you much. Thank you,
Good to see you. Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
One of the things I think that we might start off with you, Marty, is why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to be an Isshin-Ryu Karate student?
Well, I started in when I was in the Marine Corps in 1971, 72. I used to run track with the Marine Corps Quantico relay team. And when I couldn't get my orders kept to go to Quantico, and they were teaching karate at the base, because that's the Isshin-Ryu is kind of the Marine Corps system.
Okay.
And I studied under, at the time, Sensei Russell Best. He's a master Russell Best now. He was my initial instructor in Isshin-Ryu Karate. And like most Marines, he had trained in Okinawa under Toshio Shimabuku. And with that in tow, I was able to started and had a lot of reinforcement with the Marines, of course, because that's what they do. And I was able to progress there. And then I got lucky when I came home one time for a holiday break. I was looking to train because we want to stay. You want to stay on top. You want to stay sharp when you can. And so I found the Ishin School. I opened up the book and boom, there you was. You know, a
Great.
picture of you and Hanshi Dissel. You probably, it was even on the streetcars. People would probably have seen it. People back in the time, back in 71, 72, where you had your size. You know, and y'all was opposed to each other, standing up, pointing at each other, and that was just great to have. And so I started when I would come home, start training with you and Hanshi Dissel back then, and then when I transitioned out of the Marine Corps, I came home and discontinued. The ball kept rolling. And the thing that was really good about that is that Master Bus also was one of the ones who had film of Tasha Shimabuku. And so I remember when I first came in, and I was a green belt at the time, on my way to brown belt. But I was a green belt at the time, and y'all wanted to see the katas I was doing, and my katas, our katas were almost identically the same. You know, slight variations, but identically the same. And that I think we attribute that to because both of you had films. You both studied directly under Tasha Shimabuku, so there wasn't much transition or differences that happen sometime between different instructors. They take a kata, they interpret it their way, and sometimes it's still the same kata, Seison, but there may be some deviations.
Right. Right.
But those who trained directly under Tasha Shimabuku, Master Shimabuku, if there was any deviations, they were very slight. And so it made for a great and smooth transition coming out of the Marine Corps and into the Academy Mission Route Pittsburgh at the time, 1972. So it worked out well.
Well, I can remember it like it was yesterday, the time I first saw you. We were glad to get you. Yeah. And like you say, Isshinryu is more or less the unofficial style of the Marine Corps. And because so many Marines who were over on Okinawa took it up while they were there. And we were just glad to get someone from the Marine Corps. Hanshi Dissel was a Marine,
yes,
and we're proud of that. So I can't say I was. Had situations at the time been different, I may well have been.
Yes.
One thing I might bring out, you mentioned Hanshi Dissel, and you used the word Hanshi. And I'm known as Hanshi as well.
Yes.
Could you explain to our viewers what the term Hanshi means?
It means teacher of teachers. You know, you're at the master level. At the Hanshi level, that's the highest you can get. It's the 9th and 10th degree levels. The 10th degree level was primarily reserved for the Okinawan master. And students, people who trained for many years and acquired a certain amount of skills and practice and time, they become, you know, eventually, after they're long enough, the master may or may not promote them, but they may be promoted to the next level, and that's the 9th degree, which is usually the highest level a non-Okinawan gets.
Right, right. I think that's important for the folks viewing to understand that. One thing that I wanted to mention to you, or have you mention, is I have 53 years in the art, as I mentioned earlier. You may well be pretty close to that time. Wow. So one of the things I'd like you to share with the audience is, what do you feel, based on the people you've trained and the personal benefits that you've experienced, what do you feel are the benefits a person receives from training in the Isshinryu art of karate?
Well, I guess I say I've been doing it for 45 years now.
Wow.
My training, so I'm a little, I'm behind you a little bit.
You don't look that old.
Well, maybe it's your training because you don't either. But I think one of the things we get, you get self-confidence, and it gives you self-confidence. It gives you discipline. You know, it teaches you to have faith in yourself and believe in yourself, and by that you also believe in others. And it teaches you self-respect, you know, for yourself, and also respect for others. And I think that, and you would attest to this too, that not just Isshinryu practitioners, but I think practitioners in the martial arts period, one thing that they really do, it teaches you to respect yourself, but respect others.
Yes.
You always you respect other people, and you treat them with dignity and respect, and it's something that's given back and forth. And but one of the other things I get out of it is that when we train and we do katas, whether it's our basic form of our transition and maintain our discipline, it teaches you to pay attention to detail. Because if you remember one thing one of the things I always remember that Hanchi always said, regardless how good we were or we thought we were becoming, he used to always say, I could do better.
Yes.
And that's one of those things that kind of
Yes.
more or less stayed with me, is saying that you continue to train to improve, and so you want to be better, today than you were last week. You want to be better next week, next month than you are today or you are right now. And that continuous training and practice teaches you that. And when you pay that kind of attention to detail, it transitions into also everything that you do, whether it's your work or hobbies or other things that you're doing. And you become, whatever your job or profession may be, you'll find yourself being better at it because you demand more of yourself and you pay attention to the detail. And so it makes you better all the way around.
Right.
It
Right
has those
on.
transitional properties.
And I also might mention to the audience that you mentioned the word respect. And in a time period when respect is not very evident today, with the different factions that we have, I think that's so necessary. And it's one of the reasons that I enjoy teaching these children at the Bethel Park Community Center. They learn respect. Respect for themselves, respect for the teacher, respect for the other students. And I think respect is so important. Now, we've mentioned two schools. We've mentioned the Bethel Park Community Center classes that I teach. By the way, if you live in Bethel Park, every business and every residence receives the Bethel Park Chronicles 4 times a year that lists the classes I teach with the cost and the dates and so forth, and the days of the week. But we also mentioned the Isshinryu Karate Academy in Pittsburgh. Why don't you say a few words about the academy that's almost on the verge, on the edge of Green Tree and the city of Pittsburgh? Tell the audience a little bit about it.
Well, the Isshinryu Karate Academy, we came to being around 1990. We came up the Green Tree Road. We used, like you said, we used to be on the north side. We was at the Homewood, downtown. Then we moved to the north side, and then we moved up to Green Tree. And we did that in about 1991, 92, 93, with Don Washterball, one of our lead instructors at the time.
Yes.
And so he moved a group of us. It was about 10 black belts, 10 of instructors, and we banded together to form the Isshinryu Karate Academy at Pittsburgh, and we located there on Green Tree Road. And we've been there, like I said, for about 24 years now. And we're like right on the line. There's about, like I say, there's still about 10 active instructors right now. We function as a nonprofit because we primarily formed the school, the dojo, so that we could train, and we wanted a place that was home for us.
Right.
But we extended ourselves to the community, so that we're there, and we offer very competitive rates to bring people in, because no one is there trying to make a profit, and none of us really get paid. Matter of fact, you and I had a conversation where we say we pay to teach, we pay for the place because it's what we do. It's the avocation that we take on for ourselves, and our commitment to our training is why we're there.
It is nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit
Absolutely.
organization.
Right. And there aren't too many of those around today.
Right. There isn't.
I think one of the exceptional things about the Isshinryu Karate Academy in Pittsburgh is that some of the people have been there for years, years and years. I mean, not only yourself, but some of them, most of them don't go back quite as far as you, because you started so early in the 70s, but that there's a lot of talent there as far as the teachers are concerned, and there's a lot of continuity of training. And if you added the years of experience in Isshinryu Karate up, totaling a grand total, I think it would be, I've never done that, but I think it would be pretty amazing, pretty considerable. So the benefits are definitely there. And I think that's appropriate at this time of year, Marty, to consider that, because what a wonderful Christmas gift it would be and can be to give the gift of Isshinryu Karate to your child, to your spouse, to a friend, to a relative. I know it's a cliche, the gift that keeps on giving, but I don't think there's a case where it applies more perfectly than training in Isshin-Ryu Karate. And with Hanukkah and Christmas so close at hand, I would urge the viewers to take a serious look. If you live in the Bethel Park area or on the perimeters, Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, you may want to enroll your youngster, especially, in the Bethel Park Community Center. I do have some adults in the group, but father, son, mother, daughter, but it's mostly youngsters from age 6 and up. Those on the perimeters, they can enroll too. There's just a small extra fee. But if you're a little bit further out, the Isshin-Ryu Karate Academy of Pittsburgh is there. And what a wonderful gift that can be to give. It definitely would be the gift that keeps on giving. I can remember in the old days when, now I sound like an old man, but in the old days when we had the school in downtown Pittsburgh, we would advertise in the paper and Karate for Christmas, and we would run a special. And they would send us a check and we'd send the gift certificate. And that way, when the person came in for his or her lessons, they had a karate uniform, which is called a gi, coming, and they had so many hours of training. And it was a great system for us to get new students aboard. And I would really encourage those of you who have considered karate to think about it as a gift. But the other side of that coin is, Marty, that the new year is coming.
Yes.
And for how many years have we heard about and talked about New Year's resolutions? And I'd say they almost always get broken. I stopped making them years ago. But what a wonderful resolution to decide to get more healthy, more fit, and to do it training in Isshin-Ryu Karate.
Right.
It's a great time to make that commitment. Isshin-Ryu Karate Academy of Pittsburgh is in the phone book.
Yes.
The Bethel Park Community Center is in the phone book. And either way, or both ways, it can be reached very, very easily. At this point, is there anything that you wanted to add about the training as far as the benefits for you? How has it worked out with your family? Now, I know you have, if I'm not mistaken, you have a daughter who's a physician, and her husband is a physician also.
Yes.
And you have other children. Is your karate, what does your family, your children, your grandchildren, what do they think about your involvement in Isshin-Ryu Karate?
Well, they know I've been doing this about all their life, really. It's a means of my discipline. It's a way that I maintain health, and the thing that it encouraged them, into to train and to be physically active and to work the mind and body together. You know what I mean?
Great.
They're all my kids and grandkids. They're all good students. Good, students academically, but they train well. They're physical. You know what I mean? Coming up, their training coming up, and the martial arts was never anything that I pushed on them. I just wanted them to be physically active. I wanted them to develop their body as well as their mind, and vice versa, because they go together.
Yes.
And so it had that kind of positive influence on them, and they've all done well. It's been great for them.
Terrific. You've got a great family.
Yes,
no question about it.
I've been blessed to have that.
Got a great family.
Yes.
And I know in my case, I didn't push my children either. At my age now, I kind of looking back, wish I had pushed a little bit more. But I did insist it more with my daughter than with my sons because for obvious reasons, there are numerous lawbreakers around, and it's good for a woman to know some self-defense, and karate can be an excellent form of self-defense. But I think what it has done is that at least some of my children are, because of my habitual training, are habitual exercises, working out with weights or some swimming or some other endeavor, some other discipline. And so it may not always have the effect of providing or bringing up another karate person, but they're health-wise. It's something that they enjoy.
Yes, just leading by example. You know, you don't have to say, you know, they see it.
Yes.
And so when they see the activity, physical activity, and they, along with the other things that we do, you know, as work or studying, if we know our continuing education that we do, and other things that we're involved in, they see this physical activity aspect also, and it's something that they model also. So it encourages them to be active also, be it swimming, tennis, runner, you know, track, cross country, basketball, whatever it is, or soccer, whatever it is, sports. That's something that they pick up, something they find themselves doing and enjoying. It encourages them and pushes them to do that, and then we support them in that, you know.
Terrific.
What I mean? Because we want them to be active.
Terrific.
You know,
it means a lot.
To be a lifestyle, and like I say, and people who study the martial arts know that the martial arts is not a sport. You know, it's not a, you know, it's something that you do seasonally. People who train in the martial art over time, though, it's a way of life.
Yes.
It's a way you incorporate into what you're doing, physical activity. You know, and you can have your other physical activities too, sports, golf, or whatever it is that you do.
Right.
But it's a form of activity that you do that maintains all aspect, mind and body, and, you know, and spirit. You know, you incorporate together and you work. Something that I guess the monks found out a long time ago in their development and training and studying, that it's a collaborative. You know,
right.
The mind, body, and spirit working together.
Yes, and there really are three separate categories in Isshin-Ryu Karate. First and foremost is the art of Isshin-Ryu Karate. It's most definitely an art. It's a martial art. It develops the character, mind-body unity, achieved through training, proper breathing, and so forth. It's an art, number one. Second, it's a system of self-defense. It can be used for self-defense, but for self-defense only. We don't encourage beating up on anybody. We encourage, if you have to use your karate, defend yourself and then leave. Get out of there as quick as you can. And third, there is a sport of karate, and Isshin-Ryu Karate is no exception. And I did want to mention, and didn't earlier, but I will right now, that I consider you to be one of Isshin-Ryu Karate's top referees in sport karate. And you know that. It's not news to you, but it may be news to the folks that haven't met you before. Your judging, both in kata and in sparring, is incredible. And many a time, I, as the higher level, 9th to 8th, yield that referee center to you because I have that kind of faith in your skills. So, and it's important because when you have people going at one another, as we do, we need someone that's safe. I think we have to wrap it up here pretty soon, but I did want to mention about this beautiful plate that you folks may have noticed. It's a Christmas plate. Years ago, when we had our karate school in downtown Pittsburgh, I was the one who went to the bank. And most every day, although there were some lean times and I didn't go every day always. But on the way to the bank, I saw this plate in the window. And I remember one Christmas it was there and I saw it every day. And I thought, I should get that. The price on it seemed a little prohibitive, but the following year it was there again. And I bought that plate. And I've had more enjoyment with that plate. And I don't know how well you folks can read it. Hopefully the camera can zoom in on it. But what it says is, never a Christmas morning, never the old year ends, but someone thinks of someone. Old days, old times, old friends. My old friend, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
I love you dearly, and
yes,
I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
and
it.
For all you viewers, I want to say, and I'm sure Marty will join me in this wish, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a very Happy New Year to you all.